This call is being recorded.
Fat Cat Radio 247. You're live in the mix. I'm your host, Twism White Peace. Today, February 7th, 2017, we have an amazing interview lined up for you with none other than the flavor of the month, Gubba Rum. Mr. Steve. Let's just, for the points and purposes, let's just call you Steve. Steve, how are you doing today, my man?
I'm doing outstanding. How about you?
Not too bad, not too bad. A little cold, a little on the miserable side because of the weather, but hey, summer's just right around the corner.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Now, I see, obviously right now you're calling out of Massachusetts, but, you've been visiting Florida from what we were talking about, and I just want to know, what would possess you to head back to Massachusetts after being in some amazing places in Florida?
Well, what can I say other than somebody took away my medication and I became crazy and came back because I came back to today 35 degrees, snow, rain, and cold. So and you have to be crazy.
I know.
You have to be crazy to
All
leave
right.
Florida.
Well,
I know that.
First, let's talk a little bit about you. Where are you from? What is the history to Steve?
Well, the history of Steve, I don't know, maybe that'll be a book someday. I am originally from Massachusetts, and I still live there today.
Okay.
And other than going to college in Washington, D.C., I've lived here all my life. But I've always had my eye looking towards the Caribbean, which I love, and towards Florida, which I love, because after you live here for your entire life, and I'm not going to tell you how long that is, you get tired of the snow and the cold, and you say, boy, that warm climate is just dynamite.
Yeah. I can
Um,
only understand. I'm from Arizona, so, this Toronto weather is just, like I said, miserable.
Yeah, no, believe me, I understand. And I left, I was in Florida for 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks, and I just got back a couple of days ago. When I left Fort Lauderdale, it was 82 degrees, and I don't think there was a cloud in the sky. And I was thinking the exact same thing that you just asked me. Why are you there?
I know. You stay at your home, though, so, maybe you were homesick, huh?
I was a little homesick, but frankly, not that much. The weather was just too good. Just too good.
They say environment helps us get through life, so.
Yeah, so maybe that's it. Maybe you're right about that, but boy, honest to God, I hate leaving Florida. I really do.
I know. I bet. All right, so, you're infatuated with, like you said, sun and warmth and the Caribbean and so on and so forth. Now, before we get into officially what is Gubba Rum, I have a small side question. How did you go from living in Massachusetts and all of that kind of atmosphere to being a man who now starts and runs and owns and operates an award-winning rum company? What was the one deciding change?
Well, the standard joke when people ask me that when I do tasting events, the standard joke that I give them is that, the reason I got into this is that I had a lifetime of failure behind me, and I figured I had one more shot before I was dead. So that's and unfortunately, there's a lot of truth to it. But the short story is that 5.5 years ago, actually maybe it was 6 years ago now, my wife and I were vacationing in St. Martin, which is one of our favorite islands in the Caribbean. And in a number of restaurants down there, they will give you, after you eat your meal, several different flavors of a local rum, or really more accurately, rum liqueur that almost everybody seems to make in their backyard down there. And we thought this was really terrific. They give you a couple of glasses. They say, help yourself. What a concept.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
So we liked it. We took a couple bottles back to Boston with us. And a week or two later, I said to my wife, this stuff's really good. Why don't we try to import this? And she actually agreed, which was a shock in and of itself.
Yeah, I know, right?
to this day I can't believe that she did, and we'd probably be in better shape if she had not. However, here we are. So we made a deal with a family on St. Martin on the French side, if folks know St. Martin, and we wanted to import their product. Unfortunately, the short story is we were not going to be able to import their product into the United States. It would not have met federal guidelines for acceptance in the United States for quality and this, that, and the other thing. When I say they make it in their backyard, I'm not kidding. They literally make it in their backyard. So it just wasn't going to work. In the meantime, somebody referred me to a distillery in Loveland, Colorado, and the folks at that distillery were willing to work with me to take the idea I had for this brand of rum and develop it into a finished product. The distillery is Dancing Pines Distillery in Loveland, Colorado, owned by a terrific family. They're very talented people, and frankly, the truth is they make me a genius. I was not a distiller. I'm not a distiller. I don't own a distillery, and it's not easy to find folks at a distillery that want to work with you. They're real happy to do their own thing, but they don't want to do your thing. So I owe them a great debt of gratitude for helping me produce and really for producing on my behalf what we think is a terrific spirit. Gotcha.
Well, evidently a lot of other people do too. I've seen the awards and whatnot, and I've seen the reviews. So evidently more than just an idea, it seems to be a sensational product. So
we like to think so. We, as you say, we have won a number of awards. We started winning them really right after we came to market in Massachusetts in November 2013. We made it a point of trying to enter the brand, both our gold and silver rums, into a number of tasting competitions because, frankly, we needed to gain recognition. We needed to gain acceptance. We needed to get brand exposure. So we made it a point of doing that.
Right. And that's smart in any business that's trying to make an impression in today's millennial world. So now, real quick, I heard you mention the gold and silver. Let's speak a little bit more. What is Gubba Gold?
I'll tell you about both of them. We have two spirits, Gubba Silver Rum and Gubba Gold Rum. The silver is infused with real coconut. The gold is infused with real vanilla. These are not flavored products. These are real infusions. Both products are made with certified organic ingredients. There are no additives in these rums whatsoever, no flavorings, no colorings, no extracts, no chemicals.
Simple ingredients.
Real simple ingredients. Water, yeast, coconut, vanilla, that's pretty much it. Anyway, so we infuse our rums for 6 months each. We put the rum, once it's distilled, into stainless steel tanks. We add shredded coconut to one, shredded vanilla bean to the other. It's infused for 6 months. Then we bottle, label, cap, and ship. We're ready to go. These rums are both 35% alcohol by volume, which is 70 proof. And we like to say, since I'm from Boston, and a local phrase that has been popular around here for many years is the use of the word wicked. And we like to say our rums are wicked smooth. They're not like anything people are used to when they drink other brands of rum. Yeah.
Well, definitely. A lot of rums have that good strong taste to them. So
that's right. And unfortunately, most people assume that rum. Yeah, we got to mix it with something. The reason they think that way is because a lot of these rums are harsh, and our product really is not harsh. When you drink it, it doesn't burn your throat. It doesn't burn going down. So that's the primary reason we think our product is unique. We think it's special, along with the quality of our ingredients and the taste. Those are the three. I hate to say strikes, but the three reasons why we think we have a unique, superior product.
Like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 awards. Is that correct?
It's more, but honest to God, I don't know how many.
Okay, well, you know what? That validates right there. I mean, that's validation right there, is it not?
Yeah, as far as
Was
I'm
that not
concerned,
the
it
point?
works for me.
All right, so we've got the gold, we've got the silver. Now, when you say that they're infused with real fruit, do they have actual pieces of fruit in them?
Yeah,
Like
they
the
do.
coconut or the?
No, they do. They have. If you're looking at either bottle, you'll see the pieces, very small pieces of coconut in the silver. If the gold rum is sitting for a few days or whatever, you'll start seeing a sediment form on the bottom of the bottle. That's the residue from the shredded vanilla bean. We do not filter these rums, so we put them in frosted bottles so that they look good on the shelves. That's always important. That it's really just that simple.
Well, and one of the other things I like is the simplicity of the labeling, the simplicity of the look of it.
Thank you.
Not dramatic. Definitely no trying to style bite with the painted scenes or the ships or pirates or you know what I mean. You stuck with the very tropical yet simple theme of it, and I like it.
Well, thank you. What was a quick story about that was that before we got to market, we were test marketing a couple things, and we were in a store owned by an experienced gentleman north of Boston, and he saw the label we were using, and he said, "Oh, that will never work. You can't use that. It doesn't have enough going on." And he started showing me some wine labels and some other kinds of labels, and they were all over the place with colors and all sorts of stuff. And I said, well, if I do that, if I look like everybody else, then I look like everybody else. So the idea was to come up with some kind of what we thought would be exactly what you said, something that gave people the idea of a tropical setting, but at the same time had a classy look to it, rather simple. And it was that simple look that I felt would make us stand out from all the rest of the products out there with all those crazy labels.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. And do you plan, before I ask my next question, do you plan on venturing out into different flavors, or are you going to stick to just those two basics?
Right now, we're sticking with the two basics. This is not a cheap business to operate in, and when you're competing against enormously large multinational corporations with essentially unlimited money at their disposal, it's not the easiest thing in the world. So we have to be very judicious in where we spend the money that we do have. We have to take essentially what's considered to be a guerrilla approach to our marketing. And we can't really go in the front door. We got to go in the back door. We have to sell our theory of sales, which I will tell you frankly, we learned from our distiller, is that you're selling one bottle at a time. It's important to do a ton of tastings, get people to try the spirit. I don't have $1 million worth of billboards along the interstate highways. I have to meet people one by one, and I have to shake their hands, and I have to offer to sample the rums with them and for their benefit so that they can taste it, hopefully like it, hopefully buy a bottle or even two, and hope that they will spread the word with their friends, the other people who like rum, and grow in a very organic manner, person by person.
Yeah. And see, nowadays I love the way you said that. You said in an organic manner. And nowadays, especially in the times that we live in and the ways that businesses are being ran and marketed now, organic is very, very important. A lot of people don't understand what organic means. When we say an organic fan base or an organic following or an organic actual sale, means that a sale that came from real people,
you're right.
Actual
you're absolutely
customers.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. In fact, for example, we have a social media presence. We are on Twitter, and over a period now of, well, it's certainly close to 2 years of trying to be active on Twitter, we've developed organically a base of over 4,000 followers. Very proud of that. For folks who aren't big on social media right now, and I can't imagine that there's anybody like that right now listening to us. What that means is we didn't buy 10,000 followers for $5 a name or whatever it might be. And there are plenty of people out there offering that service. They're offering to sell businesses a list of followers. We haven't done anything. I haven't spent a nickel on that. We meet when I'm out there, because I'm the one that does the social media. When I'm on Twitter, I meet somebody, I see something that's interesting, I contact somebody, and person by person, I start to follow them, they follow me, or however it has to go. And over time, we've developed this base of people and businesses who follow us, and we do business with a few of the people, and we're happy that that's occurred. I think that the only way to build loyalty is to try to get to know. Even if you have 4,000 followers, at some point you've spoken to them, you're chatting with them, whatever it is. They will be much more loyal to you than anybody you buy.
Yeah. And call me the out of place one. But I also believe that by keeping it, in a sense, pure, like you do with the organic followers and not purchasing these wild, extravagant stuff, it's laying a foundation for people to be able to trust in your product. It's one thing to have 150,000 followers and 2 of them pay attention to you, or have 4,000 followers and 3,900 of them pay attention to you. The numbers nowadays is so misleading. It's the response, like you said, taking the time out to meet individually. It doesn't matter if it's music or business or rum or whatever. Taking the time out to actually embrace the people and say, hey, you know what? I realize that you have been supporting, or I realize that you bought this product, or I accept the fact that you have been in this circle for so long, that they become part of, and we love this phrase, network being your net worth.
Very good. Absolutely. No, it's very true. The best example of that type of thing is that we met in Miami a week ago when we were in Coral Gables doing our tasting table there. There was a gentleman who came by and he tasted the rum. He loved it, and he really started to rave about it. He said, I'm going to tell this person and I'm going to tell that person. And the truth is that you get a lot of that at these tasting events, and it does happen.
Yeah, of course.
Typically nothing ever happens with that. This gentleman went around the corner, told a friend of his who had just opened a restaurant, and I went over there, and they're gonna now take the brand on. He's telling his friends. He's in a business where he actually, when he works with somebody, he'll give them a gift. He's going to give the rum as a gift. So this guy he's not just a friend. He's become an ambassador for our rum in a week or in a day. He came back to our table a couple of times because he wanted to try it again. Because he really did like it that much, and he was quite a guy. So it's that type of thing that makes these tasting events really worthwhile when you get to meet people like that. Because again, he was quite a guy.
Well, and you know what? I hope that you have many more instances like that, because those are in any form of indie business, brand, artist, music, whatever, in any form of it. That is exactly what we do this for, is it not?
Yeah, it sure is. Meeting people. No, it really is. Look, when you meet these people at these events, you hope that they like the brand, and B, you talk to them, they become, and not friends in the classic sense, but they become a friend of the brand, really, and then they become people who recommend the brand, and at the end, they become ambassadors for the brand. Because they like it so much, they really do refer you to people. They refer us to restaurants, to individuals, all sorts of things. And That's how a small guy like me in any line of business. That's how businesses grow. That's how they become successful. And the only way you get that is that you try to be loyal. You try to be you're honest with people. Say, here's our spirit. We hope you like it. If you don't, it's not for everybody, but it's all there is. All we've got is what's inside the bottle. That ends up at the end of the day. They have to like what's inside the bottle. Otherwise, we're done.
Right. People seem to forget. It's not about you can be the most amazingly people-friendly person. And I know several people right now involved in my daily life and career that are some of the most amazingly awesome people you'll ever meet. But as far as to say that they have that extra gumption, it's just not meant for everybody. And I see you finding a niche, and you're working that niche. And my question to you is simply, how did it become something that you, what's the word I'm looking for, pursued so vigorously that you have these people lining up and saying, yes, we want to promote. Listen, okay, so here's an example. Here's an example of what I'm trying to say. I have the radio station, and I have met a connection through Twitter that I have valued greatly. His name is Sam Tumblin. He goes by Promo King, Promo Street King, and a couple of other ones. And he is an absolutely amazing brand ambassador. However, though, when he first came on, one of the very first sentences in one of his emails was, "May I please be able to promote Gubba Rum through your company?" And I said, by all means. Now you have people that are lining up to jump and go tell their restaurant owners and be brand ambassadors, and so how did you do it? I mean, we all struggle. Like before we started this whole conversation, remember you said we're the same thing. We're trying to get to that same point. We both have businesses, so on and so forth, right?
That's right.
How did you overcome that hump? So many of us out there are trying to overcome that hump. How did you find that niche and pursue it, to overcome it, to have these people standing in line?
I guess, as I said before, I since we started this, we've tried to. I guess the key phrase is brand exposure. I've tried brand exposure. I've done. And again, I'm no genius, and I don't have every answer in the world. Believe me. I've made some very, very painful mistakes and some very expensive mistakes. I hate, as much as I hate to think about it, it's the truth. And but that's everything. Everything is a learning experience, and unfortunately, that's the truth too. Look, I've gone out. I've been doing this now we've been in the market since, as I said, November 1st, 2013. So it's just over 3 years. And we started in Massachusetts. We're now available in Massachusetts and Florida. And we're preparing to go possibly to Savannah, Georgia, New Orleans, possibly Las Vegas. Toronto, Canada. In California, and there's in New York State. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we're looking at, and we're trying to work towards. It's complicated. Everything you'll walk a fine line between expanding too fast and not having the capital available to do what you want, and not expanding fast enough so that you're not generating enough capital to be able to expand the way you want. But honestly, again, it's having done countless tastings in any number of liquor stores, walking around in bars. I have to admit that when lovely young ladies are walking around in bars sampling, people are far more likely to look at them than they are to look at me. They're far more attractive. I also don't look good dressed in high heels. So they do better than me. But believe me when I tell you that, I've walked around plenty of bars with trays of sample cups and asking people to sample the rum, and I've done hundreds and hundreds of tastings in liquor stores, getting people to sample the rum. So one by one by one, we get to know people. They get to know the spirit, and we build a clientele. Further, again, we do events all over the country, really, where we get to show essentially a national face by participating in. Even though I'm not available all across the United States, but people will see the brand, they'll taste the brand. For the most part, they love it when they try it. If they just try it, I got them. And they say, well, when are you going to come to North Carolina? When are you going to come to Pennsylvania? When are you going to be in Ohio? When are you going to be in Texas or Louisiana? And I say, well, as soon as we can do this, that, and the other thing. And if you know a distributor and you want to mention us, by all means, please do. So that's it. That's how it works. That's how it works. You just every day. I mean, I'm up, and you must be. I know you're doing the same thing. You're in business and you're trying to build your brand via the radio, etc., and the music. I was when I was in Daytona Beach a week ago, Sunday night. I met somebody at the hotel I was staying. Believe me, it was purely on the up and up, and it turns out the guy loves rum. I said, okay, when you get off, he was parking cars at this hotel I was staying at. He said, I get off at 11. I said, great. I'll come downstairs. You can try my rum. So 11 o'clock on a Sunday night, I'm working. I'm offering this guy samples. And he said, I buy my rum at a liquor store down the street. You should go talk to him. I'm going to talk to him for you. And he did. Now I've picked up a liquor store in Daytona Beach, Florida. So that it's crazy, but that's what you do. I mean, I'm on 24 hours. If I'm not sleeping, I'm working. That's how it's done.
Yeah.
That's how it's done.
I completely understand. I mean, that's I live that same life. I mean, obviously, rum is a lot more of an attractive product than hip hop music and stuff like that. But hence the reason why I also branched out. I wanted that radio station, that magazine, that television. I wanted to be able to provide the services rather than the entertainment value, I guess, is what I'm trying to bring. That's my uniqueness. Remember how you was talking earlier about your simplicity being unique and things like that? I value what people like you say because you're a great representation of what is achievable through the exact, philosophies that some of us live by. You know what I mean? Now, there are others who just merely pay for everything, viewers and probably would have paid a distribution company or a distiller company to distill for them and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? There's so many different ways that each person can go about it, but the value of the knowledge of how they did it is always very important. You understand what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. And again, no matter what it is, somebody's doing hard work. There's no way around it. If somebody's buying it, okay, maybe they're buying it, but then somebody's going to do the work, and that's fine. If that's how it is, that's how it is. But I think that in your case, you're out there doing the hard work. In my case, believe me, I know I'm doing that. I'm out there working.
He's like, I got
the
easy job. He's like, I just stand there.
Exactly. And I mean, frankly, I'm at the point. I reached this point a long time ago. If I'm doing something, and I'm not out hustling the brand, I feel guilty, and I say, oh my God, I'm wasting time. I'm not doing what I'm.
Oh my God. So seriously though, I start getting nervous. I start getting antsy. You know what I mean?
I think, oh my God,
I could be doing right now. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's exactly what it is. You say, oh my God, I shouldn't be. I can't do this. And you got to keep working. You got to keep working. And I don't know if that's the best thing in the world.
I think almost though, man, that I am addicted to the work though.
I think I am too.
Yeah.
I think I am.
I mean, I seriously, there's just something about it. What else would I be doing with my life if I was not doing this work?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I make rum and I sell rum, and I'm the first one to admit, maybe I'm not improving the world, and I admit that. But if I can bring a smile to somebody's face on a Friday night after a hard week of them working, well, maybe I am improving the world a little bit in that regard. And honestly, when people try it and they like it and they go buy a cocktail that's making them happy, it makes me happy. I say, hey, that's pretty cool. They're happy. Look at that.
Sound like the Larry Flynn of rum.
Yeah, they like what I've sold to them or what I've given them. It's not a bad thing. Okay, I admit it. I haven't saved the world, but maybe I made it a little happier. So I'll accept that.
All right, Mr. Flint, the court rests its case. Okay, so a couple of quick questions. Obviously, finances for this, got to be steep. Did you ever along the way have sponsors, investors, angel investors, things like that? Was that ever something that you had to pursue, or were you able to connect the dots throughout, just from the hustle and the grind?
It's really it's two sources. Sales generates cash is one thing, but
right.
I do have. Not an angel investor, but because that's a specific type of thing, nor is it a venture capitalist. But I have a person who has partnered with me and provided a substantial amount of money so that I can do this because they think they believe in the whole concept of what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. So again, that takes. Sometimes you have good fortune. I've done other things where I needed that type of thing, and I didn't have it, and it cost me dearly. But in this case, this venture is seen as something with great potential that will pay off. So I've been fortunate, very fortunate, to be able to do this. And frankly, without that benefit, there's no way I'd ever be able to do it because it's just you just can't, just cannot do it. You cannot do it.
Well. After this, of course, after we're done with the interview, you can go ahead and email me the little black book of angel investors and investors that you have lined up. I mean, you can't hold all the secrets to yourself.
I understand that.
Not fair.
Just tell me where to make the check, who I make the check payable to, and where to send it.
I know exactly. I'm telling you, though. No, for real. Nowadays, though, it seems like the biggest constant, battle that indie businesses and brands like us seem to face is one, ever constantly changing market. But number two is the ability to, resource our potential to these markets.
Well, that's true. In a world where markets are really ever changing and they change faster and faster all the time, I think there's a couple of approaches. You could try to keep up with these changes, in which case you become you're very contemporary, and things can pass you by. Things can pass you by. What I really believe is that you have to present a product that will not just be a passing fad, but will be something that somebody says, oh, yeah, that's great. I'm going to drink that all the time. And they're going to say it month after month and hopefully year after year. I'll use the term, that what you have is classic, and if you're lucky, it's timeless.
Household name stuff, yeah, exactly.
Okay, in other words, if I tell you I'm going to come up with a rum that's a pizza, I'm just looking at a bag of frozen pizza here. If I say, I'm going to come up with a pizza-flavored rum, somebody may say, wow, how cool is that? And it's a flash in the pan for about an hour and a half, and then nobody buys it again. Well, that's not the goal here. That's not the goal here. I don't want to be a passing fashion. I want to be a classic fashion that stays in as long as possible. As long as possible. It has to stand the test. Has to stand the test of time, and a lot of things these days do not.
Why do you think that is? Just because that they're trying so hard to please the moment?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of reasons for that. I think people want to know. The world has a short attention span nowadays, and everybody wants to know what's the next best thing. If Apple came out with the Apple 20 tomorrow, everybody would already be lining up for the Apple 21, which is 2 years away. They'd start lining up at all the Apple stores, which is why Apple, when you go to any shopping mall, all the stores are empty except Apple, where you got to take a number to be served. Apple, that's what it's an amazing phenomenon to me. I'm just astounded by that. But again, if you have, again, we're talking about flavors and that type of thing. Again, if you come out with a flavor that's, apple, cherry, blueberry, pink, okay, that's great. But if you say, at least in my opinion, and why we did vanilla rum and coconut rum, hey, these are kind of classic. We can do this. These are things people won't discard them after they put whipped cream in the glass. They'll keep drinking them. So hopefully, to me, they'll be classics.
Well, I think a classic is defined, definitely by the length of time, but also, how many ups and downs. I mean, I think what makes a classic is the fact that, even if it's not in season, so to speak, it's still there. It's still available. It's still good. It's still, you know what I mean? So, I could definitely agree with that.
Exactly right.
So real quick, we've got a few minutes left, but I know there was some interesting things that you're getting ready to explode, off into a sense with, looks like a couple of tables, some taste tables and some festivals. Let's break it down from top to bottom. Let's see. In Florida, let's start with Florida.
Okay. We just participated in Miami in the Coral Gables Fine Arts Festival. We had a tasting table there about 10 days ago. This past Saturday, we participated with some great guys and some good friends now in West Palm Beach. They sponsor the West Palm Beach Rum Festival, and that was a great afternoon this past Saturday. At the end of this month, we will participate in the New England Food and Spirits Festival in the city of Boston. At the end of March, there's a couple of events. There's a nightclub and bar show in Las Vegas. We're still determining whether or not we're going to participate in that. There's also, again, another festival in Miami, April 1st and 2nd, which we will participate in. In Miami, in mid-April, is the Miami Rum Festival, which is a fabulous event founded by a great couple who live south of Miami. And they, as I said, they're wonderful people. They've been very nice to me, and I am very grateful to all the help they've given me. We've got, again, and again, it sounds like we are focused in Florida right now because Florida is the biggest rum market in the country. It's got the climate, it's got everything, and people drink rum down there. So then we've got Miami again, the beginning of May. Let's see, there are some events, more events in Fort Lauderdale in June. July is one of the big events, Tales of the Cocktail in New Orleans, Louisiana. And if you've never been to New Orleans for Tales of the Cocktail or for anything else, you got to put it on your bucket list because it's a great place to go. It's really
man, that list is long already.
It's long, and August is the San Diego Spirit Festival, and then you get back to Florida again in the fall. It just goes on and on and on, and it never stops. It never stops.
So you do, wintertime, fall, summer, it doesn't matter. There's always a festival going on.
Oh, yeah. There's always some place where you say, gee, do I have to do this? Do I have to do this? Do I have to do this? Can I afford to do it? It's really, there's a lot going on. And again, if I'm doing those festivals, that means I'm not in Massachusetts or Florida selling. I'm not walking the street, going door to door, selling. I need more of me, and there aren't any more. So
tell me about it. Oh my God, that is my number one prayer every day. Lord Jesus, please make another one of me to handle half my problems.
Exactly. It's tough. There's no matter what, you can work you may be the hardest working guy on the planet. There's still only 24 hours in the day, and that's that.
And still only two hands.
And still only two hands, and maybe there's more than one computer. I don't know, but It's not easy. Believe me, it's not
Yeah,
easy.
it's not.
And
Screen sharing doesn't help at all. Trust me.
yeah, no, and I know you know that better than as well as, if not better than everybody else. Believe me.
Well, I did it the old-fashioned way. I believed in beating the street, talking and meeting and greeting and so on and so forth. But the world was changing, so I had to change with it, and that's when I became the online presence, more so to speak. You know what I mean? But inevitably, either world that you go in, whether it's person to person or just online, that professionalism, that dedication, that drive has to be there. It has to be something that you're willing to put your full effort into, and not be like, well, you know what, I got to work today at something else. No, this is your job. If it's not your job, if it's not your life, then you're not meant for it, and you don't want it bad enough. So,
No, that's right.
It just comes down to, huh?
No, I was going to say I agree with you completely. Whatever you're doing, these if you take on these types of things, it is your life, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and you can't. There's no, I think I'm going to the beach today. There's no, it just doesn't go like that. It doesn't go like that.
I just dropped a little post on, Facebook or Twitter today or something that said, it's hard trying to deal with 2,500 retweets a day. And, a lot of people
I saw that one, and
I
did see that one.
A lot of people just don't understand what that means. It means that my phone, my business, my mind goes non-stop. I mean, even if I was to not look at my phone for 6 hours, by the time I get back, there's going to be twice as many as if I just dealt with it right then and there.
Sure, absolutely.
It's frustrating. It is very frustrating. But like I said, I think I'm addicted to the work. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? We've got a few seconds left here, and with this last few moments, man, what has it been for you personally? Take away the business, take away the struggles, the experience. Your life has changed, obviously. I mean, what is that like for you? What is that like for your wife, your family? How has the adapting and the adjusting been to it?
Well, I'm lucky in that my children are grown and they've been out of the house for several years, so that's not so much of an issue. When I travel, this is not. My wife doesn't really participate in this. This is not her thing. She has other things that are of interest to her, where she puts her work life and her efforts into. So I've been in Florida for 2 weeks. I haven't seen her for 2 weeks. We talk every day, and I certainly. It's great to see her when I come home, but that's the way it is. We have been married for a long time, and maybe that helps a little bit. But it's better to have your partner with you at night than not with you at night, and it does get a little bit lonely. But then again, this is a business where, frankly, you have to be doing what I do, and obviously doing what you do. You have to be an extrovert. You have to be out there talking to people and joking, and
even if you don't want to be.
If you're an introvert, this is not the job for you. So it's tough, but this is the life. I mean, the fact of the matter is, I love what I do. I love it. And it took me a very long time to find something that I love doing. I mean, really love doing. No matter what it is, any aspect of what I'm doing, I don't dislike anything. I just love this. And the more I'm out,
you get soaked up in it. Every part of it. You get so soaked up into it.
No, that's true. And every time I'm out in the public, I'm happy. I'm loving it. I'm just loving it.
Yeah. No, I bet. I know I love it when I stand on stage or when I'm out doing the walk-arounds with the CDs and the albums and things. That's your moment where you really get to be. In my sense, the entertainer I am, or in your sense, the brand that you are. You know what I mean? So. Yep.
That's it.
Well, Steve, it's about that time. So, but you know what? Wow, incredible. I mean, definitely a lot of success is headed for you. You have the mindset for it, and you have the passion for it. And those are two things that have to go hand in hand in today's world, or else, businesses fail, brands fall apart, so on and so forth.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate the opportunity of being with you on the show.
Oh, of course. Well, we'll have to do it again in a more timely and a more organized manner. Obviously, situations occurred with this one that was not to the best of both benefits, but definitely do it again. Maybe after one of these table testings, like you said, 2 weeks, Florida, Coral Gables. I'm sure that's going to be something interesting to. No, that was last month, right?
Right.
No,
right.
January
right.
20. Yeah. No. So next up is looks like
the next show. I actually am going to have. I'm going to have to go back to probably Jacksonville in a couple of weeks for a weekend, and then come back and do a show here in Boston at the end of the month.
Well, see, all the more reason why we just need to stay back and forth. There's
That's
got to
right.
be interesting stuff happening all the time, right?
That's right. There's always something.
And besides, I got a Mission Impossible that little black book of yours. I'm telling you.
All
right, my
it's not
friend.
what it once was, but you're welcome to it.
The Pandora's box, huh?
That's right. That's right.
Is there any shouts out, any people that you want to acknowledge for their hard work or effort or anything like that before we go?
Yeah, I want to. I give enormous credit and thanks to Christian Naslund, the owner of Dancing Pines Distillery in Loveland, Colorado, a great guy, a very talented distiller who creates fabulous products of his own and has helped me. As I said, he makes me a genius. Really, and I thank the folks who are working with me in Florida. There's really just too many to name right now. The tasting companies I use in Massachusetts. And more than anything, of course, I have to thank my wife for putting up with this for 5 years.
I know that's right.
Trooper, really is the
people wonder why I make so many love songs.
Well, you know what? If they got to live, if anybody can live with me, well, God bless them, because they've earned
Amen.
whatever credit they can get and honor they can get, they've earned it.
Exactly. Steve, a pleasure. Gubba Rum, make sure you're checking out the links. I think Twitter is Gubba Rum, Facebook is Gubba Rum, and the website is Gubba Rum, correct?
GubbaRum.com. We make it simple for everybody.
Yeah, I like that. That's, I believe in that philosophy. Everybody, one name instead of all these different forms and variations. So, GubbaRum.com, and of course, Facebook and Twitter at Gubba Rum. Make sure you're checking them out. Make sure you're supporting them. Of course, they would love for you to invest in a bottle. So if you want to get in on that, all you got to do is go to GubbaRum.com, check out where to buy Gubba Rum, and I'm pretty sure if you get a hold of Steve himself, there might be some way for you to even get cases delivered to your neighborhood store, maybe even a bar that you hang out at. All you got to do is be the brand ambassador that Gubba Rum needs you to be and wants you to be. This is a quality product that is available and becoming more available as time goes on. So, like I said, shouts out to Steve, of course, Gubba Rum, Xandra and Xandra Boutique, Sam Tumblin, and so many other people who are involved in not only the brand ambassador part of it, but just promotion and, saying, hey, what a top-notch product.
Well, thank you, Twism. I really appreciate it, and we wish you all the best. And I appreciate the invitation to come back sometime. I hope we can work that out.
Oh no, definitely, and like I said, in a more organized manner as well, too. So
That's great.
All right, Steve, you have a great day. Thank you so much, and of course, I will send you a copy of this and make sure that we have it posted to the link and website and everything, so that way you can share freely as you need to.
Well, thank you very much, and I just want to say hi to all your listeners, and we really appreciate if you listen to us for a minute or for 50, whatever it is. We appreciate you, and we thank you very much.
Every second counts. Amen. All right, Fat Cat Radio 247. That was the interview of Gubba Rum. Make sure that you're tuned in to the live radio station 24/7, fatcatradio.airtime.pro, and of course go to www.officialtwismwhitebeast.com to find out more. Steve, have a great day, and fans and followers, have a blessed evening.